In the video to follow, you will find it to be of great interest to take a close look at Jehovah's creation. Although you will be amazed by the magnitude and intricacy of the physical world around us, look beyond the awesome material universe. See the qualities and personality of our grand Creator. This will draw you closer to Him. Is this difficult to do? Not really, but it does require that we make a conscious effort to contemplate Jehovah's marvelous creative works. Now, we warmly invite you to draw closer to your loving Heavenly Father as you observe intently some of the wonders of His creation.
Hey, Dad, look.
Hey. He's a fast little guy, huh? Let's go check this out. You know, there's a lot of amazing things to see out here, but you can't see them all with your eyes.
What do you mean?
Remember our family study? You wanted to know how you could really be God's friend. Really get to know Him, remember?
Yeah, I remember. You said by studying the Bible.
That's right, and studying God's Word is the best way. But there's another way. Take King David, for example. What do you think he saw when he looked at the night sky?
The stars?
That's right, but he saw more than that. He saw Jehovah.
But how could he see Jehovah in the stars? People can't see Jehovah.
David could see who he is, his personality, by appreciating the things that he made. It helped him to draw close to God. You can draw close to Jehovah in the same way, from looking at what He's made on earth to the stars above.
Many enjoy looking at creation, but few realize that they are catching a glimpse into the mind and heart of our grand Creator. Long ago, David learned about Jehovah through his inspired word, but he also saw and drew close to Him through creation.
When I see your heavens, the works of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you have prepared. What is mortal man that you keep him in mind, and the son of earthling man that you take care of him?
David loved Jehovah and saw Jehovah's power, wisdom, and love reflected all around him. The world we live in today is designed to distract us from our Creator. Do you take time to look beyond the man-made world? When you do, even something seemingly common becomes extraordinary as you open your eyes to see the one who made it. Life, our planet, the starry heavens. Looking at these will help you see Jehovah, drawing you closer to Him. At Genesis 15:5, Jehovah invited Abraham to look up to the heavens and count the stars. How many stars could he count? Our Milky Way galaxy contains over 100 billion stars. Can we even comprehend such a large number? Let's try by comparing each star in our galaxy to a page in a book. How long would it take to examine those pages? At the rate of a page per second, it would require over 3,000 years. In order to count them in your lifetime, you would need to turn about 50 pages per second for every moment of your life. We lack ability to even count the stars, yet Jehovah knows each one by name. Looking beyond our galaxy, astronomers are finding that sections of the sky appearing nearly empty from Earth are actually filled with thousands of other galaxies. But did Jehovah scatter them randomly? Even at this colossal scale, elegant organization is seen.
There is one who is stretching out the heavens just as a fine gauze, who spreads them out like a tent in which to dwell.
All of these massive celestial bodies are in constant motion. Their precise movements have been likened to the choreography of an elaborate ballet. Besides their vast numbers, the distance between stars is also mind-boggling. Let's try to visualize the distance from our Sun to its nearest neighbor star, Proxima Centauri. Imagine that we could shrink our Milky Way galaxy so that our Sun was roughly the size of a soccer ball, located near New York City. On this scale, Proxima Centauri would be almost 4,000 miles away in Paris, France, a little smaller than a golf ball. Really, the Sun is almost 25 trillion miles away from its nearest neighbor star. We only have to look at the stars to be filled with awe for Jehovah. Yet, as the book of Job describes, what we see are only the fringes of his ways. When the prophet Isaiah looked at the stars, he perceived Jehovah's qualities.
Raise your eyes high up and see. Who has created these things? It is the one who is bringing forth the army of them, even by number, all of whom he calls, even by name. Due to the abundance of dynamic energy, he also being vigorous in power, not one of them is missing.
And how much power was necessary in the creation of this universe? There is incredible power found even at the atomic level of matter, but man has often used it destructively. In contrast, as a potter with clay, Jehovah skillfully used his dynamic energy to make all the matter of the universe.
The heavens are declaring the glory of God, and of the work of his hands the expanse is telling.
In modern times, we have peered into the far reaches of space and seen creation at an awe-inspiring scale.
Yours, O Jehovah, are the greatness and the excellency. Everything in the heavens is yours. In your hand there are power and mightiness.
When we raise our eyes to the heavens, we are seeing evidence of Jehovah's unparalleled power.
Jehovah is powerful, but do you really think he cares about each of us here on Earth?
He shows that he cares in how he designed a comfortable home made just right for us. Think about outer space and how barren it is. Yet the Earth, it's an oasis. Remember what Isaiah said, the former of the earth and the maker of it, who did not create it simply for nothing, who formed it even to be inhabited.
But how did Jehovah form the earth to be inhabited? More abundant than any other substance on earth, water is often taken for granted. Yet it is fundamental to life. By looking closer at water, what can we learn about the one who designed it? A single glass of water contains countless trillions of molecules. Each molecule has a deceptively simple design. 2 atoms of hydrogen attached to 1 atom of oxygen. The oxygen side has a slightly negative charge, and the hydrogen a slightly positive charge. These opposite charges attract each other like tiny magnets, forming what are called hydrogen bonds. What results from this simple yet elegant design? As water gets colder, it contracts and grows more dense. However, unlike most liquids, as its temperature approaches the freezing point, something unexpected happens. Water begins to expand. As it freezes into ice, the hydrogen bonds between water molecules lock into place, crystallizing into a very open lattice. Due to this unique design, ice is less dense than liquid water and floats on top. This quality prevents much of the water in lakes, rivers, and even the oceans from eventually becoming solid ice. Instead, Jehovah created a natural insulator that preserves life in the liquid water beneath. Really, Jehovah's wisdom is seen in how he masterfully designed the sea and fountains of waters. This abundance of water could not exist if Earth were not precisely placed within our solar system, some 93 million miles away from the Sun. Had the Earth been situated only 5% closer to the Sun, scorching heat would have made life impossible. If the Earth were placed only 1% farther from the Sun, freezing temperatures would have covered much of the globe with huge sheets of ice. Jehovah also made the Earth just the right size. If Earth were slightly larger, its gravity would be stronger. Hydrogen, a light gas, would collect, being unable to escape the Earth's pull. In time, the atmosphere would be inhospitable to life. On the other hand, if our Earth were slightly smaller, life-sustaining oxygen and surface water would escape. In either case, were the Earth larger or smaller, life would not exist. Both its size and proximity to the Sun reveal that Jehovah formed the Earth even to be inhabited. Orbiting around our planet, we have a faithful witness that Jehovah purposefully designed our home. Is the moon merely an object of beauty made to adorn the sky? The psalmist states that Jehovah made the moon for appointed times. What purpose does it serve? With a diameter 1/4 that of the Earth, the moon exerts a strong gravitational force on our planet, stabilizing the tilt of the Earth's axis of rotation. Without the moon, the Earth would wobble over long periods of time from nearly 0 to 85 degrees. This would have an extreme effect on our climate. On part of the Earth, temperatures would soar, while elsewhere, they would plummet. Keeping our climate and seasons consistent, our moon is at once beautiful and essential to life. It is fitting that the Bible calls our moon a faithful witness in the skies. When you hear the gentle sounds of water, when you feel the warmth of the sun, when you gaze up at the beautiful moon, give thanks to Jehovah, the one who lovingly prepared our earthly home.
Exactly. We're physically...
But what draws us even closer to Jehovah in a personal way is life itself and how He designed us to enjoy it.
Michael, look how much fun they're having. We're not robots. Jehovah's given us the ability to love and form satisfying relationships, to laugh and play. We can appreciate beautiful music, see in vivid colors, smell and taste in almost infinite variety. These things aren't necessary for life, but they add to our enjoyment. And what would life be like without these wonderful things? What if there was no music? What if there was no emotion? What if every food, even though nutritious, had the same color, texture, taste, and smell?
That would be boring.
We could still survive, but would we enjoy life in the same way? Jehovah has made life absolutely wonderful here on earth. No wonder we want to live forever. Remember what King Solomon said? He has put time indefinite into our hearts. That's the way Jehovah made us.
The more we observe creation, the more we appreciate that life is a gift meant to be enjoyed.
Jehovah's given us so many things that fill us with happiness. Remember last year's vacation?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
Like the hiking, beach, sunsets. I love the food, and I like watching the animals.
Yeah, we really savor the simple things in creation. Jehovah made us with the ability to enjoy life. And we see His creativity in the incredible variety of life on earth.
The variety we see in the animal kingdom is breathtaking. In the oceans alone, we find moving things without number. Living creatures, small as well as great. The waters are teeming with life. Jehovah's many and varied works are wonderful. In addition to variety, the instinctive behaviors that we see attest to Jehovah's wisdom. How do birds find their way as they migrate thousands of miles? How do they know that flying in a V formation conserves energy? How does a beaver know how to build a dam and what materials to use? Who teaches a spider how to measure out the geometric patterns of its web? What makes the diversity and behaviors we see in nature all the more wondrous is their source. Jehovah carefully concealed within each living cell a special type of molecule called deoxyribonucleic acid, commonly known as DNA. Each DNA molecule is composed of a series of smaller molecules called nucleotides: cytosine, guanine, adenine, and thymine. These nucleotides are linked in long strands, twisted into a double helix. Just as individual letters can be arranged to make up different words, these four nucleotides, C, G, A, and T, are arranged in specific combinations to identify amino acids. In turn, these amino acids are the fundamental components of all living things. Incredibly, whether a majestic redwood or an exotic orchid, a giant whale or a newborn baby, the design for every living organism is recorded in the same format, a personal DNA blueprint. Appropriately, the psalmist said,
How many your works are, O Jehovah! All of them in wisdom you have made. The earth is full of your productions.
But nowhere is Jehovah's wisdom and love more evident than in his creation of humans. From its very beginning, human life has potential far beyond that of any other creation on earth.
You kept me screened off in the belly of my mother. My bones were not hidden from you when I was made in secret, when I was woven in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw even the embryo of me, and in your book all its parts were down in writing.
What makes us so unique? Of all of Jehovah's earthly creations, how are we different? Genesis 1:26 states that Jehovah went on to say, Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. We have been designed to reflect the personality of Jehovah himself. Our ability to reason, our inborn spiritual need, our capacity for love, all separate us from God's animal creation. Further, in designing us, Jehovah gave us the potential to go on living forever. Our cells, the tiny building blocks that make up our body, are designed to continually regenerate. Jehovah also provided us with a masterpiece of design, made to last us forever. Our brain contains some 100 billion neurons. Each neuron is a special nerve cell with connections to thousands of other neurons, some with as many as 250,000 others. Collectively, they store the information that makes us who we are. Amazingly, our creative capacity and potential for learning is limitless. Observing life draws us closer to Jehovah. He designed us to learn forever, to enjoy life around us forever. And this makes us look forward to living forever. Out of love, Jehovah promises a life that we can only dream of. Jehovah will cleanse the earth and restore the paradise. In this new world, we will appreciate animal creation like never before. We can only imagine how rich the real life will be. As we grow to perfection, we will go on learning about life, our beautiful home, and Jehovah. Love, peace, and happiness will fill our hearts. Although the paradise is yet future, taking time to discover Jehovah's creation will add purpose and meaning to your life right now. In vain, many have searched for purpose and meaning through careers, money, and entertainment. Man's world is designed to draw us away from Jehovah. Whether it does so or not is up to us. If you want to draw closer to Jehovah, open your eyes to the world around you and see the one who made it all. After contemplating creation, Job said, "In hearsay I have heard about you, but now my own eye does see you." We can see Jehovah everywhere, in the majestic heavens above, in the precious home He made for us, in how He designed life itself. Every living thing on our beautiful earth, no matter how small, reflects the extraordinary creative skill, originality, and wisdom of our loving Creator. Even as we enjoy life forever, we will never stop being awed and amazed by our wonderful Father, the grand artist of creation, Jehovah.
After viewing this video, surely we appreciate why glorious creatures in the invisible heavens felt impelled to declare, "You are worthy, Jehovah, even our God, to receive the glory and the honor and the power, because you created all things, and because of your will they existed and were created." Creation's wonders should move you to have feelings such as expressed at Psalm 19 in verse 1, which says, "The heavens are declaring the glory of God, and of the work of His hands the expanse is telling." And at Psalm 104, verse 24, the psalmist exclaims, "How many your works are, O Jehovah! All of them in wisdom you have made. The earth is full of your productions." How much of God's creation do you notice each day? If you have children, do you help them to see Jehovah's infinite wisdom and the depth of His love for us by drawing their attention to the things He has made? When Jehovah created the first man, Adam, He put him in a beautiful paradise garden. One of Adam's first assignments was to carefully observe the animal creation and study their characteristics. Then he gave each a name. Would you have enjoyed that assignment? No doubt in that paradise it would have been easy to become absorbed with the works of Jehovah's hands and then be moved to glorify the Creator. Today's situation, however, is dreadfully different. There is no paradise. There are no sinless humans. Selfish humans are ruining the wonderful home given to humankind. More and more people live in cities where the physical elements of heaven and earth often go unnoticed and are not fully appreciated. So many are preoccupied with the imagery and fantasies of television, movies, and video games. We must resist the trend in today's world to ignore the works of Jehovah's hand. When comforting the poor people of his day, Jesus told them to observe intently the birds of heaven and to take a lesson from the lilies of the field. Why did he use this approach? His encouragement to draw lessons from Jehovah's wondrous creation would add depth to their faith. It would instill confidence in the Creator and build appreciation for His wisdom, saving power, and love. To cultivate such godly qualities, we do well to read the Bible daily and attend Christian meetings regularly. And you parents, having a weekly Bible study with your children will help them to cultivate a profound appreciation for our Maker's wondrous works. It is wise not to be unduly distracted by the works of this world. Neither should we become totally absorbed in personal pursuits or selfish interests. Make the time and effort to observe intently all the wonderful works of God's creation. Doing so will draw you ever closer to Jehovah, the one who made everything beautiful in its time.
Each artist's work is a reflection of the individual, a personal expression of creative skill and imagination. But are such expressions limited to human works of art? Or are they also displayed in the natural world? We live in a world rich in spectacular colors. Everywhere we look, different shades and hues captivate our eyes. Some are subtle variations. Others are sharp contrasts. Together, they draw our attention to the striking beauty that exists all around us in creation. But where do all these colors come from? The answer has to do with the nature of light and how it interacts with different surfaces. Light usually appears white to our eyes. However, white light can actually be separated into all the different colors of the visible spectrum, each color corresponding to a different wavelength. Most objects contain chemical substances called pigments that absorb certain wavelengths and reflect others. What is reflected back to the eye by each object appears as the wonderful variety of colors that we see. However, among the most exquisite colors displayed in nature are those that come from a phenomenon known as iridescence. These brilliant colors can vary depending on the angle of your view. How are these shimmering colors produced? In most cases, iridescence is caused not by chemical pigments, but by precise structural patterns within the surface of an object. For example, the wings of morpho butterflies are covered in tiny semi-transparent scales. On each scale, we find layers of microscopic, evenly spaced ridges, which in turn have still smaller ridges on their sides. The distance between these tiny ridges is actually smaller than a wavelength of light. They break up the light waves and create an interference pattern. As a result, some colors are canceled out and others are intensified. These intensified light waves are reflected back to our eyes as a dazzling blue. Yes, these brilliant works of art are the result of ingenious and intricate design. Spectacular colors can be found not only in objects around us, but above us as well. As the sun goes down, magnificent sunsets paint the sky with breathtaking colors. What is behind this artistry in the sky? As sunlight travels to the earth, the light strikes air molecules and dust particles and is diffused or scattered. The extent to which a light wave is scattered, however, depends on its wavelength. Blue light waves have a shorter wavelength and are widely scattered throughout the atmosphere. That's why we see a blue sky when the sun is well above the horizon on a clear day. However, when the sun is near the horizon, the light must travel through more of the atmosphere to reach our eyes. Blue light, with its shorter wavelength, is scattered before it ever reaches us. On the other hand, the longer red and orange light waves can travel farther through the atmosphere and adorn the sky with the golden and crimson colors of the sunset. What a rich diversity of colors have been used to paint our earthly home. When we take time to observe their beauty, we are drawn closer to Jehovah God, the greatest artist. For just as each artist's work is a reflection of the individual, so too the beautiful colors Jehovah has chosen for each of his creations are daily reminders of his deep love for us. Yes, everything he has made pretty in its time. Every day we see patterns in the world around us. They testify to the careful design and hard work that produced them. But what about the patterns that are not made by man, but appear in the natural world? What do they reveal? Consider the snowflake. These tiny crystals are formed when water vapor in a cloud condenses directly into ice. As the crystals grow, delicate and beautiful patterns emerge. Look more closely at the pattern within a single snowflake. The crystalline arms branch, then branch again and again at increasingly smaller sizes. Mathematicians studying this concept of self-similarity use the term fractal to describe a shape that has a consistent, repeated pattern at multiple scales. Where else can fractal patterns be seen in the natural world? Trees can demonstrate a degree of self-similarity. The trunk splits into limbs, which split into branches, then twigs, and so on. We see a similar type of fractal pattern in the leaves of a fern. A different type of pattern, but one that is also a fractal, can be seen in the shell of the chambered nautilus. As it grows, the nautilus builds new, larger chambers and seals off the older, smaller ones that it no longer needs. The result is a spiral that is fractal in nature, maintaining a similar shape as it increases in size. Natural spiral patterns of this type can be observed in many places, from the cloud formations of a hurricane to tiny shells on the beach, from the arrangement of the stars in a galaxy to the seeds on a sunflower head. What causes these spiral patterns? In the case of the sunflower, it has to do with the specific angle at which new plant growths form. This angle, approximately 137.5 degrees, is sometimes called the golden angle. It results in an ideally compact arrangement with no wasted space and creates distinct spiral patterns. If the sunflower grew not at the golden angle, but at a different angle, for example 140 degrees, we would see radial arms instead, and the seed arrangement would not be as efficient. As we look even closer, we can discern a fascinating mathematical relationship between this golden angle and a series of numbers called the Fibonacci sequence. In this progression, each number is determined by adding the previous two numbers together. Interestingly, these Fibonacci numbers can often be observed in plants. This sunflower has 34 spirals in one direction and 55 going the other way. Both of these numbers are in the Fibonacci sequence. A pineapple will often have 8 or 13 spirals. Flowers with a spiral growth pattern tend to have a Fibonacci number of petals. Why are these numbers significant? As the Fibonacci sequence progresses, the relationship between successive numbers comes closer and closer to defining the exact value of the golden angle. This intriguing mathematical relationship between the golden angle of plant growth and the number of resulting spirals reminds us that the patterns we see in the natural world are not merely accidental. Each one is a reflection of order and careful design. As we take time to examine these patterns more closely, we're filled with a sense of wonder at the workmanship of their designer, Jehovah God. For His invisible qualities are clearly seen from the world's creation onward, because they are perceived by the things made. Water. From space, it is our planet's most striking feature. We find water everywhere that we find life. And this is no coincidence. For each drop of water has extraordinary properties that are essential for all living things. For example, North American redwood trees can grow to be over 100 meters tall. Water, carrying nutrients, must travel from the roots all the way up to the highest leaf. How does water overcome gravity to reach these great heights? To help answer this, notice what happens when a narrow glass tube is placed in a dish of water. Water begins to rise inside the tube. What causes this to happen? As we have considered, water is a polar molecule. That is, one side has a negative charge, and the other side has a positive charge. As a result, water molecules form what are called hydrogen bonds with other polar molecules, including the glass molecules just above them in the sides of the tube. At the same time, the bonds between the water molecules pull the surface taut and draw up the molecules below, like links in a chain. These same forces, adhesion and cohesion, are at work in trees. Water rises inside the trunk of a tree via tiny capillaries, or tubes. Meanwhile, as water evaporates from the leaves, it creates an upward pull that is transmitted through the chain of water molecules below. Together, these forces lift the water, carrying vital nutrients to each limb, branch, twig, and leaf. All around us, this amazing process is quietly at work in plants, from the smallest wildflower to the tallest tree, which in turn provide food and oxygen for humans and animals. But perhaps our most direct and personal connection to water comes from its role within our own bodies. From the blood that circulates through our veins to the fluid around and inside our cells, water is the perfect medium for life. As a powerful solvent, water breaks down salts, minerals, and other nutrients, carrying these in solution to nourish our cells. As a chemical reactant, it is essential in the digestion of our food. Even proteins, the fundamental building blocks of our cells, have a special relationship with water. To function correctly, a protein must be folded into a specific three-dimensional shape. And this crucial folding process is guided by subtle interactions between the protein and water. Yes, in every way, the properties of water are precisely balanced to support life. Without water, our cells would be as dry and lifeless as a harbor in the middle of a desert. Instead, water energizes our cells, keeping us active, healthy, and alive. What an extraordinary creation water is, and what a unique role it has been given in sustaining all living things on our beautiful planet Earth. On every level, from the tiniest molecules to the vast oceans spanning the globe, water is masterfully interwoven with the fabric of life. It is a powerful and daily testimony to our wise Creator, Jehovah God, the one who made the heaven and the earth and sea and fountains of waters. Creating a set of blueprints for the construction of a house requires that the architect consider each individual detail. But he must also ensure that everything harmonizes with the overall design. what about the design of life? Do we also see evidence of careful planning and an overall harmony between living things? Our world is filled with marvels of creation, each wonderfully unique. Yet, as we have considered, all living organisms have something fundamental in common: our DNA blueprint. From these incredibly tiny molecules come all the complexity and diversity of life. But even beyond the physical appearance, behaviors, abilities, and instincts of individual organisms, DNA spells out the potential for amazing interactions between different creations. The more we observe the natural world around us, the more we begin to see an underlying harmony emerging from the design of life. For example, many flowering plants produce nectar, which serves as a food for insects and other animals. But the benefit is not one-sided. As bees drink nectar from a flower, they're dusted with tiny grains of pollen and carry these to other flowers of the same kind. Many flowering plants and trees depend on this pollination to reproduce. Yes, by wonderful design, bees, plants, animals, and humans all benefit from this relationship. Hidden beneath the soil, we find another beneficial relationship between plants and fungus. Since they are unable to produce their own food, certain fungi infect the roots of plants and absorb carbohydrates from their host. But instead of being harmful, the fungus can actually help the plant. The filaments of the fungus provide a much greater surface area to absorb minerals and water, which are shared with the plant. Additionally, the fungus can extend into soil that is inaccessible to the roots of the plant. With this assistance, the plant is able to take in more nutrients from the soil, grow faster, and better tolerate extreme conditions. Virtually all plants benefit from this type of helpful relationship with fungus. In the depths of the oceans, we find more alliances between different kinds of creatures. Some very unexpected. Groups of large fish gather in areas where smaller, cleaner fish assist them by removing dead skin and parasites from the visitors. Under other circumstances, the larger fish might eat the smaller ones. But at these cleaning stations, the large fish allow themselves to be attended to. Most fish avoid the stinging tentacles of the sea anemone, but the clownfish makes a home right in among them. A special coating on its skin protects the clownfish from being stung. In this way, the clownfish is safe from predators. In return, the clownfish may share food with the anemone and provide protection against anemone-eating fish. Elsewhere, a goby fish and a shrimp live together in the shrimp's burrow. To protect its nearly blind host, the goby stands guard and taps the shrimp with its tail to warn of danger. These are just a few examples of the interconnections we see all around us when we look more closely at the natural world. How do these instinctively wise creatures know to form partnerships with others so different from themselves? Somehow, the potential for these relationships is recorded within the DNA of each one. Yes, life is not just a random collection of individual creations, but rather a marvelously orchestrated masterpiece of design. Each living thing plays its part in perfect harmony with others around it, joining together in the magnificent symphony of life. To learn more about creation is to gaze in wonder at design and engineering far superior to anything mankind has devised. It is to catch a glimpse of the mind of the master designer, Jehovah God. You are worthy, Jehovah, to receive the glory and the honor and the power, because you created all things.